Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to our Spring Summer 2022 YA Book Buzz. Here are all of the ways you can get in touch with us. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions about any of the titles we're presenting. You can also sign up to automatically download our eGalleys on Edelweiss. Instructions for this and for downloading from NetGalley can be found on our website. Now on to the books. First up is I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. From New York Times bestselling author of One Last Stop and Red, White, and Royal Blue comes a fierce, funny, and frank YA novel about chasing down what you want, breaking the rules, getting messy, and finding love in unexpected places. Casey McQuiston is truly an expert at crafting thrilling stories full of complicated characters that will make you laugh, cry, and feel seen no matter who you are or what your story is. And I Kissed Shara Wheeler is no exception. Not Good for Maidens by Tori Bovalino. This is Salem's Lot meets the darkest part of the forest in this horror fantasy retelling of Christina Rossetti's Goblin Market. Lou never believed in superstitions or magic until her teenage aunt Neela is kidnapped to the goblin market. Determined to save Neela, Lou learns songs and spells and tricks that will help her navigate this dangerous world and slip past a goblin's defenses. But she only has 3 days to find Neela before the market disappears and her aunt becomes one of them forever. If she isn't careful, the market might just end up claiming her too. Not for Maidens features an asexual main character, and this horror retelling will be perfect for fans of Holly Black and Leigh Bardugo. Wind Daughter by Joanna Ruth Meyer. Joanna Ruth Meyer's East of the Sun, West of the Moon retelling, Echo North, was nominated for YALSA's Best Fiction for Young Adults list and received starred reviews from Publishers Weekly and Kirkus. Now, in Wind Daughter, we return to the same wintry, magical world from Echo North. In the dark, cold reaches of the north lives a storyteller and his daughter, Satu. The storyteller was once the formidable North Wind, but he lost his power by trading it away in exchange for mortality. And now the world is unraveling in the wake of this imbalance. To save the North, Satu embarks on a perilous journey to reclaim her father's magic, but she isn't the only one searching for it. In the snow-laden mountains, she finds herself in a deadly race with the Winter Lord who wants the North Wind's destructive powers for himself. This companion novel to Echo North is a hauntingly beautiful tale about love and loss. Primal Girls by Julia Lynn Rubin. Wilder Girls meets the female of the species in this YA horror story about a girl who gets sucked into a secret society at an elite summer program with deadly consequences. Arlie Gold is spending the summer at the college prep Camp Rockaway. Even though the girls in her cabin are awesome, and she's developing a major crush on the girl who sleeps in the bunk above her, the other campers don't seem interested in becoming her friend. When she's tapped to join a strange secret society, Arlie thinks this will be her shot at fitting in, until her new sisters ask her to do the unthinkable, putting her life and the life of her new crush in perilous danger. Together We Burn by Isabella Banez. In an ancient city plagued by dragons, a flamenco dancer is determined to save her ancestral home, but the dragon hunter refuses to teach her his ways. They don't want each other, but they need each other, and without him, her world will burn. This is a lush, enchanting standalone fantasy inspired by medieval Spain, filled with romance, adventure, and just the right amount of danger. This is for fans of Sarah J. Maas and Shelby Mahurin, and this deeply romantic story set in a vivid world that readers will want to get lost in. Tokyo Dreaming by Emiko Jean. Return to Tokyo for a royal wedding in the sequel to New York Times bestseller and SLJ Best Book of 2021, Tokyo Ever After. Izumi will do anything to help her parents get their happily ever after, but what if playing the perfect princess means giving up her own? Can she find a way to forge her own path and follow her heart? This irresistible rom-com perfectly encapsulates the witty, feel-good love story that readers are looking for right now. Home Field Advantage by Dahlia Adler. In this sweet and funny sapphic romance from the author of Cool for the Summer, a cheerleader and the school's newest quarterback are playing to win, but might lose their hearts in the process. When it turns out that the new quarterback, Jack, is actually short for Jacqueline, all hell breaks loose. No one is happy about a girl leading the team. But head cheerleader Amber is falling for Jack. And if Amber can't stand up for Jack and get everybody else to fall in line, her dream of becoming cheer captain may come at the cost of her heart. Dahlia Adler's latest is a sparkling romance about fighting for what or who you truly want.
The Gravity of Missing Things by Marissa Ergo. Everyone thinks my mom did it on purpose. Officially, her plane is still missing somewhere in the Atlantic. Unofficially, news reporters all over the world say she was a suicidal terrorist and crashed it into the sea, killing 155 people. But I know better. My mom could never hurt anyone. Mom didn't crash the plane on purpose. She didn't crash it at all. I think she's still alive, and I will prove it. Fans of the twists and turns of Karen McManus and the emotional coming of age of Kathleen Glasgow will love this thriller set around a mysterious plane crash. Relic and Ruin by Wendy McIver for lovers of Leigh Bardugo's Six of Crows duology and B.E. Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic comes an epic tale of a world where life and death are never forever and magic defies the in-between. Erebus and Nyx are the relics, the only two powerful beings in the world capable of taking down the greatest evils known to any kind. Soon, Nyx and Erebus become the hunted and must try and escape the evil plans of the warlord Bellum, who wants the relics for his own purposes. Can Nyx and Erebus master their newfound powers? And even if they do, can they survive? This Vicious Grace by Emily Feed. Serpent and Dove meets the bodyguard in this romantic, thrilling debut fantasy where one girl's magic can save or it can kill. 3 weddings, 3 funerals. Alyssa's gift from the gods is supposed to magnify a partner's magic, not kill every suitor she touches. Now the people on her island are convinced that the only way forward is to assassinate Alyssa. So she hires Dante, a cynical outcast marked as a killer, to become her bodyguard. This Vicious Grace has all the trappings of a dark fantasy that readers find so compelling, including a heroine destined to save her people, but also destined to kill. A handsome, brooding love interested with deadly secrets, and a devastating conclusion that will leave readers yearning for the second book. Our Crooked Hearts by Melissa Albert, author of the best-selling Hazelwood duology, is back with a new contemporary fantasy novel full of secrets, lies, super bad choices, and witchcraft. 17-year-old Ivy's summer begins with an accident that reveals a secret she's always known, that there's more to her mother than meets the eye. Back then, the summer Dana turned 16, she began a fling with the supernatural. Years after it began, Ivy and Dana's shared story will come down to reckoning among a daughter, a mother, and the dark forces they never should have messed with. This darkly brilliant book full of chilling magic brings to witches what the Hazelwood brought to fairy tales, and will be a hit with anyone who loves The Craft, Coraline, or The Witch Haven by Sasha Payton Smith. Stealing Infinity by Alison Noel. Dan Brown meets Leigh Bardugo in this clever, fast-paced series from the #1 New York Times bestselling author of the Immortals series. When Natasha Clark is invited to Arcana, a mysterious nightclub, she discovers a tombstone with her name written on it. When she wakes the next day, her life has completely changed, and she ends up on a remote island at a hidden school where history is changeable and students travel through time. Guided by Braxton, a handsome boy with a guilty conscience, Natasha discovers the wonders of the past, including a connection to Greek mythology that just might lead back to none other than Natasha herself. The Charmed List by Julie Abe. Sabrina the Teenage Witch meets To All the Boys I've Loved Before in this romantic comedy with a magical twist about 2 former friends turned enemies forced together on a summer road trip to a secret magical convention. The magical elements are small, keeping readers grounded in a contemporary world, but the charms and spells give the story a touch of whimsy, to be perfect for fans of sweet rom-coms like Tweet Cute and Love and Gelato. And Wake the Bones by Elizabeth Kilcoyne. The sleepy little farm that Laura Early grew up on has awakened. The woods are shifting, the soil is dead under her hands, and her bone pile just stood up and walked away. After dropping out of college, all Laurel wanted was to resume her small town life and try not to think about the boy she couldn't help but love. Instead, a devil from her past has returned to court her, as he did her late mother years earlier. Now Laurel must unravel her mother's terrifying legacy and tap into her own magic before her future and the fate of everyone she loves is doomed. This is a dark, atmospheric, deliciously creepy Southern Gothic debut about the complicated feelings that arise when the place you call home becomes hostile. Ideal for fans of Melissa Albert, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and Midsummer.
Heatwave by T.J. Klune is the third book in the thrilling and hilarious Extraordinaries trilogy by New York Times bestselling author T.J. Klune about a queer fanboy with ADHD and the heroes he loves. Nick, Seth, Gibby, and Jazz are back in action, bringing justice, protection, and disaster energy to the people of Nova City. An unexpected hero returns to Nova City and crash lands into Nick's home, upending his life, his family, and his understanding of what it means to be a hero. Beating Heart Baby by Leo Min is a tender best friends to enemies to lovers story with AAPI main characters celebrating first love, second chances, indie rock, and transitions of all kinds. Santi has arrived in LA with one goal: mend his broken heart. Thankfully, his new school welcomes him with open arms, with one exception, his prickly marching band section leader, Sua. But as Santi and Sua get to know each other, they each let down their guards, and their friendship quickly becomes a mutual crush. When Sua is offered a chance in the spotlight, the pair must finally reckon with their dreams, their past, and their futures, together or apart. This is a coming-of-age romance celebrating the uncertainties queer youth encounter amidst the turmoil of first love. This knockout debut truly pulses with life and energy, begging to be read and reread. It's Nick and Nora for a new generation. Accomplished, a Georgie Darcy novel by Amanda Quain. Georgiana Darcy gets the spotlight she deserves in this sparkling Pride and Prejudice retelling, featuring a healthy dose of marching band romance, banter, and Charles Bingley as a ripped frat boy. From E.B. Zaboy's Pride to Tirza Price's Pride and Premeditation, there's an insatiable hunger for smart Austen retellings in YA. Accomplished is no exception. This high concept retelling will appeal to existing fans of Pride and Prejudice while also grabbing the attention of fans of Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez, Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins, and Netflix's Never Have I Ever. Long Story Short by Serena Kaler. Beatrice Quinn has spent 16 very serious years studying to get into Oxford University, but she can only go if she can prove to her parents that she's able to make friends with people her own age. Their solution: Shakespearean theater camp and a detailed list of teenage milestones to check off. Unfortunately, hearts and hormones don't follow any rules, and Beatrice soon finds out that relationships are trickier than calculus. With flirty, whip-smart banter and sweet, slow-building tension, this is a fun rom-com with a whole lot of heart about friendship, first love, and learning to take a chance on yourself. The Stars Between Us by Kristen Terrell is about a girl who discovers that behind the glamour and romance of high society, the world is teeming with conspiracies, secrets, and murder. Set in a glittering Dickensian-inspired world where secrets are currency and love is the most dangerous risk of all, Vika Hale must quickly learn who she can and cannot trust as she attempts to escape her lavish new life unscathed. With a unique blend of exciting sci-fi, swoony slow burn romance, and intriguing mystery, The Stars Between Us will appeal to a wide variety of readers, including fans of Alison Saft, Marie Lu, and Charlie Jane Anders. The King Will Kill You by Sarah Henning is the final entry in the Kingdoms of Sand and Sky trilogy. The Princess Bride meets Game of Thrones in this YA trilogy from acclaimed fantasy author Sarah Henning. The epic tale concludes as the newly crowned Queen Amarand and Luca, her one true love, seek peace among the kingdoms of sand and sky. But peace may not come easily, as the war-torn kingdoms must confront a power-mad king, determined to seize control and kill Amarand and Luca in the process. Fans of Sarah J. Maas, Kristen Kishore, and Adrienne Young will love this kick-ass heroine and fast-paced fantasy adventure. Wildbound by Elaine Audrey Becker, the follow-up to Elaine's YA fantasy debut, Forestborn. Following the assassination of Talian's king, peace is no longer an option. After failing to procure Stardust, Helios is now a healer at the military garrison in Fendalin's Keep, where Talian's exiled royals and civilians have fled. Across the continent, his sister Aurora is attempting to end Eridane's slaughter of magical beings. With magical illness spreading quickly and battle approaching the continent, destruction seems inevitable. Will a continent survive? A story of shapeshifters, forest magic, and the search for identity, this epic fantasy aligns with books like the Hazelwood and Leigh Bardugo's early Grisha books. With a classic, timeless fantasy feel and a happily ever after, it's a comfort book that readers crave. And that is the end of our YA Buzz. Thank you for tuning in.